Welcome to the Safe, Secure, and Empowered 24/7 podcast, where we talk about how to protect yourself, your business, and your team from unforeseen events. We will interview and chat with professionals on a variety of topics concerning personal safety. I hope you tune in to learn more as we hear from those helping you and businesses stay safe should an unpredictable incident occur.
Welcome to another episode of Safe, Secure, and Empowered 24/7 podcast. Today, I am Rita Peter.
And I am Pamela Dawson, and we are Parker IoT Solutions. Every day, someone is at risk of becoming a victim of a criminal act, be it robbery, a random shooting, or home invasion, just to name a few of the incidences that threaten one's safety. We at Parker IoT Solutions are working to create awareness to help keep people safe. Hence, the reason we started this podcast, as well as to promote Save You, a mobile safety application. We will talk about that more later. But I am delighted at this time to have with us Lonzine Lee, who is a dear friend and also a woman with many gifts and talents. She is a writer, an author, and a publisher. She hosts Kingdom Conversations with Lonzine Lee on Tuesdays and also Divinely Designed on Mondays, in which 6 amazing women come together for candid conversations about relationships and other topics that inspire and bring healing. So we'll bring her on right now and looking forward to what she has to talk about with our topic today. Who is your friend?
Hi.
Hi. Welcome, Lonzine.
Thank you. It's really good to be here.
It's good to have you. So if you just, I know I've given a little bit about you, but just give a little brief synopsis of who you are.
Okay. As I listened to what you said, like, wow, I'd like to meet her. She's nice. Okay. Oh, that's me? All right. That's cool.
I've met her.
I got to meet Rita face to face in Oklahoma, and that was awesome. A little more, I guess, to add about is I'm a mom, and of course I'm a woman, and proud of that. I am also an observer because I'm a writer, because I do counseling and I do other stuff. I'm always watching people. I tend to notice trends. I'm a marketer. Well, that's my college background is marketing. And so you were trained to observe trends, and I just watch to do problem solving. That it's always to me, how can I help somebody implement a strategy or something of that sort? And so I watch people. I watch women, I watch men, I watch interactions, and I've watched the erosion of a lot of manners, good manners, or just, sometimes even the upbringing that we've had in a society that moves so fast that people assume things about others that you can no longer check out, or what in marketing we would call doing due diligence. So that's kind of that's what I'd add about myself.
Well, thank you so much for sharing. So now I'll turn it over to Rita, and we will go ahead on.
Okay. Yes. So, Lonzine, so good to see your beautiful face again.
Likewise.
I just wanted you to take a moment. I know that there might have been a time, and we're all about safety. So was there ever a time that you came in danger or found yourself just a time that you didn't feel safe?
Yeah, a lot of times, because I have done stupid things. Stupid is a word that I use. It is not meant to insult anyone. I know some people, that's what they were told their whole lives, and that's not where I'm coming from with the word. when I use the word stupid, I use a biblical definition. It is one that is darkened in understanding. The light is not on. I'm unaware of certain kinds of situations. And being young, I was also very carefree about my personal safety. And of course, found myself in situations that you're thinking, oh, dear God, if you get me out of this, I swear I will never, ever, ever, I'll never do this. I've been on the wrong side of a gun. I have been in situations where people were acting just a little off base. I've been, with, I guess, that's probably the worst one. I learned how to talk out of that very quickly because it was something that I didn't know the style of people that I was around. And other times I've been oblivious to dangers, but I'm very blessed to have guardian angels that are on their job. So
Yes.
that's pretty much what
Amen.
that's like.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, as Pamela had mentioned today, our podcast is entitled "Who is Your Friend?" And this is
Hmm.
a question that we really want women to think about this. Who is your friend? Because women, we're so social and we need one another. And so it's
Hmm.
just really important that we know who we hang out with and who's really got our back. I want to read to you. There's a stat from an organization called WHO. It stands for World Health Organization. That's the name.
Hmm.
They said nearly 1 in 3 women, or that's 30% of women, have been subjected to physical and or sexual violence by an intimate partner or non-partner sexual violence or both. So that is 1 out of every 3 women. So we have got to know who our friends are, and then just to make sure not only that we have a true friend, but we are a true friend. And by true, I mean, someone that's we're watching out for one another, someone's watching out for us. So this just helps prevent and reduce those dreadful circumstances, the outcomes, the occurrences that are going on 1 out of every 3 women. So what comes to your mind when I say that? Who is your friend?
What comes to mind with me as a mom, I remember giving my daughter and my daughter's friends from high school a lecture. I said, "You're going off to college. Yes. Do you drink? Yes. Do you like to party? Yes, I do. Then sit down. I'm going to talk to you for a few minutes." Because at the time that I was coming up, that was when the little drugs, the roofie kind of things that were being put in drinks. A lot of women that I knew, I didn't know them in college, but I found out they'd been date raped because they were someplace, they had a drink, somebody had slipped something in, and they found themselves not able to control anything. And so that became that's a predatory kind of thing to me. And so I would tell these girls, listen to me. When you go out, I'm not telling you not to go clubbing. I'm not telling you not to go party. I'm telling you some things, and you will always hear my voice and see my face when I say this to you. If you have a drink, somebody offers to buy you a drink, and they bring it to you, spill it and let the waitress bring you another one. Because
Mm,
you
that's
don't
good.
know if they went to get it and they brought it to you, you don't know what they've done. If
Yeah.
you have to leave to go to the restroom and you come back, do not take another sip out of that drink. You get another one or you're done for the day. You understand? The next thing I said, you don't go any place with somebody who wants to just go outside and talk because it's too smoky and it's too dark in here. Then stay in the smoke and the dark until it's
Mhm.
time to go with your friends. And so I would
Mm.
give these rules. Why? Because that man is not your friend. What he's interested in is between your neck and your knees, and he does not care how he
Right.
gets it. And
Right.
you need to, and so I had to say, it's like, Mom, you're saying it this way. Yes, I am. Because,
Yeah.
and another thing, if you're with a girl that's desperate for a man, you don't listen to her when she wants to go someplace because she's possibly set you up. She's so hungry to get attention. She's using you as bait. She's using you. She may not say it that way, and it may not even appear to be that way. But, baby girl, when somebody is desperate for somebody, you do not want to be involved in that triangle because you are being set up. And so, those are the kind of things I think about. Everybody that says that you're friend may be your friend in certain areas, but they may not be your friend when it comes to your personal safety. If I have to choose over my pleasure and your pain, my pleasure takes precedence over your pain. And if that's a person, if that's the way they think, they're not your friend.
Right.
Okay.
Wow, that's good.
That is good. That is good. So, have you heard of any occurrences of the examples of this happening
So many.
with
Well,
tragic endings?
yes. Well, you know me. I can tell you one that was. I am, as I said, I'm an observer. I watch trends as a writer. I'm always looking at different things, and of course, I am. For whatever the reason is, I've always been drawn not to TV shows. I'm not into the TV dramas, but I will watch the procedurals. And I've talked. I'm around a lot of law enforcement. My background is not law enforcement by any means, but one of the things I look at is how these very things we're talking about. Many of the people that end up being kidnapped, raped, murdered, lost altogether, it is because of the abandonment of somebody that was supposed to be your friend. You think about the young girl that I won't say last names and do all that, but who had gone off on a high school vacation, and they had gone to a different island. And so
Mhm.
everybody is supposed to be having all this fun. You know who I'm talking about.
Yes.
And she wanted to stay with these strange guys that nobody knew. And her friends were like, well, we're getting ready to go home tomorrow, so we're going to leave. They left her there. And I'm like, look, if you got to get conked over the head by anybody, it's going to be me because we're going to drag your little self out. You're not
Right.
staying. And
Right.
here's an expression that is said so often that can lead to danger. I'm having a good time. Well, good times come to an end. We don't
Right.
want your life to come to an end the same way. And so if we came together, we leave together. And I've had friends that, that girl I'm talking about on the island, she ended up dead. She
Hmm.
ended up missing. She went missing and then she ended up dead. Um, Never to return. Why? I'm not, please hear, I'm not blaming her friends. Not on any, I would never want to put that kind of guilt in anybody's mind. But what I
Right.
am going to say is, let's take the lesson from it and not let her death be in vain and
Mm.
watch out for each other. There's other stories of women that have gone a party of three and they meet two guys. I'm thinking of a case, I believe it was in Arizona, and she was there with friends. They were all supposed to be having a night out, and two guys come along and they want to, party with the two of the women, but not the third one. And so the two women say, okay, well, they had the car, I guess, and they're going to go off with the guys and left her there. Now
Mm.
she ended up going to a phone booth. She's crying. She's upset. She couldn't get her brother to pick her up or whatever it was, the story. I'm not going to try to be accurate. I'm just giving the approximates. Bottom line, this woman ended up found dead in a desert
Mm.
because, again, um, the friendship connection. They didn't pinky swear. We don't leave each other. They're not, the friendship packs are different now. It's not all for one and one for all. It's more like all for myself. And so that's why I said the erosion, because these things were taught to us. Don't leave anybody behind. Military, they still say that you don't leave a brother behind or a sister behind. We don't leave one another in the mess.
Right.
You know, many of them, it's like we're going to have cuts and bullets in the front of us, not the back, because we're not retreating. We're approaching. We're coming in strong. And I feel that um, too often it's like, oh, we were at a party and we all met different guys and she went off walking, I think this was in Texas, beautiful young girl, again having a really good time at a festival, but she meets a guy and for whatever reason goes off in the car with him. Why? Because she doesn't know what a stranger is. Because
Mm.
a stranger can be somebody that you know well from biology, or you know well from this, or from church even, but you
Hmm.
don't know them in this social setting. And you don't necessarily even know yourself, you know. So it's like, am I my own friend? Is a question that I have to ask. Who am I in a party situation? Who am I when it comes to the type of man I'm going to allow to approach me? Who am I when it comes to is a good line enough to entice me away from the plan? Am I my own friend? Even more so maybe than is this girl, is Pamela my friend, is Rita my friend, is Lonzine my friend? Because if I'm not
Wow.
my own friend, then I can be talked into anything. you know.
Yeah.
So that's kind of, so those are stories. There's another story. I'll say this one. Um, Again, a lot of times it's a party situation, it's a setting, or there's something where a person will set up a friend because a guy has said, people that are trafficked, and that's a whole other topic, but they're told to go out and recruit, and they recruit on the friendship basis. I
Right.
had a situation in my own life years ago now. I was going to visit my grandmother, and I was taking a bus. And I was sitting at the bus station, and I'm reading or listening to music with my headphones or whatever it was. And this very attractive man comes and approaches me. Now, he's been watching me all along, but he approaches me, and he wants to, uh, he's chatting with me, and he's inviting me to go out to dinner. And I'm like, no, I'm on my way to go see my grandmother. And he's like, well, maybe on the way you could stop off in San Francisco, and we could have dinner and stuff. You'd have some time before if they're not even expecting you at a certain time, maybe you could, stop and have dinner and then go on. Well, I didn't know about the recruiting methods of pimps at that time, but I knew I didn't know the man. And yeah, he was very cute, but it's like, no, I'm going to go see my grandmother. And he could not, can I talk to you? No, you cannot. And there was another young girl with him, you know. And what I realized years later, was as observing at a bus station in Los Angeles, watching a very smooth looking man, same style, approaching young girls as they were getting off the bus. And I realized this is how they recruit you. Then they drug you. Then they rape you. And then they keep you and they put you to work and you go missing
Mm.
because of a stranger, because a young girl who looks like you. And I mean, there's so many of those. A serial killer that did the same thing. He's dead now, and this is quite a few years back. Recruited one girl, and instead of killing her, he kept her, but he then forced her to entice other young women to. It was safe to be with him, where he would then rape them and kill them, and things of this sort. And so because if they look like you, then it must be safe. No, that
Mm,
instinct on this, you know what I'm saying? That instinct
yeah.
on the inside that says, "Do not go." We need to pay attention to that.
Right. Well, thank you so much. This is great. This is a reminder of the basics that we just, we get so comfortable every day going and we just need the reminder. I appreciate that. And you hit on trafficking, human trafficking. I just encourage anyone watching this podcast to we have other podcasts on human trafficking as well, where people who work in this day in day out can give tips that are great for that era of things. And so we appreciate that so much, Lonzine. I'm going to pass it to Pamela, back to her, and we're enjoying this. We're going to keep going. We want to hear some more from you, Pamela.
One of when you brought up human trafficking, sex trafficking, and you and I have talked off the scene about possibly a relative of mine that may be being trafficked, and
Mm-hmm.
it's interesting because um, it was like I got the revelation of how it happened,
Yeah.
and whereas there was a transaction of this person presented a vehicle that this relative could buy, and she signed up for it even against our recommendation to say that's too much, this is no good. And so, I don't know if there was paperwork that was exchanged, but she was able to give a deposit. But when it came to that first payment, which was outrageous, first monthly payment, and then we knew she couldn't make it. So therefore, he had a hook in her, and and I'm like, this may be the hook that got her. That he's now saying you have to be on. You've got to make that money to pay me for that car. This just came about a week ago, the revelation of it, and I was like, wow. So and we know that sex and human trafficking is huge. It's the modern day slavery.
Yeah.
um, Now I want to ask you, do you work with Operation Underground Rescue with Tim Ballard?
I do not work with them. I have one of my business partners does. Yes. So
Oh,
I'm by
okay.
association. but I will be.
Okay.
Absolutely will be. You know her. I'm just not going to name drop her right now, but her name starts with an
Right.
X.
I
And
know. I know.
and
But yeah, I mean, I know because I knew either you did or she did, and I was watching one of his videos, one of his documentaries, and so
Mhm.
he's really on the front lines of that, and I know that's a passion of yours as well,
Oh, it is.
uh,
It is.
to bring it to help bring an end to that that modern day slavery as they call it. So anyway, is there any other ideas or pointers you want to give us with regards to um, staying clear of the the friends who are not friends?
Yeah. What I was thinking about is social media
Uh,
because we all have, maybe not all, that's an assumption, but many of us have social media accounts where, what are they called? My friend. Okay.
right.
And
Right.
so, how many posts have you ever seen? Hello, family. Hello, friends. It's like, seriously, no. And people will give out all kinds of information about themselves. Now, because I have three programs that show up on social media on a couple of different platforms, and there's a whole lot of the stuff that that all of a sudden has opened up for me. And I remember having a little stalker. It wasn't too long ago. It's just been about the last couple of months or so. And this is some guy that one of the things that they say that I just find if you feel creeped out, there's a reason. The first word that they'll say to you is just hi. It doesn't have anything else to do with it. Or hello, beautiful, or hello, something. It's like, dude, you don't even know me. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And so I'm not giving you permission to give me endearments or any of this other kind of stuff that you're doing. So that right away to me is delete, 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 or block, block, block. But this particular one, for whatever the reason, I thought he came in through probably a false account and said that he is a friend of a friend. Well, first thing that I do is I'm going to look to see how much interaction do you have with the people that you claim that we have as mutual friends. And if I don't see you on their post and I don't see them responding to you, you have already become suspect. Due diligence. I'm going to ask, do you know this person? And 9 times out of 10, I have experienced, no, I don't have any idea who that is. So that's
Mm,
the how much information do you give about yourself? I'm going to be here. I'm going to be here. I'm going to be here. It's like, no, I was there. After you don't share it
Right.
while you're there, you share about it after you come home. Now that's just preventive of robbery or whatever. Stop giving out all of your vitals, and for crying out loud, please stop taking all the seductive poses to show off
oh,
your new cleavage thing, to show off your new this. I mean, men do it too. If a guy posts a picture without a shirt, delete. It's
mhm,
not a compliment, it's a troll. It is somebody that is looking for who will take the bait. Predators look for who is going to take the bait. I could feel this guy was a predator, like a lion that's crouching, or like a alligator or a crocodile on the side waiting, And it's like I'm not that defenseless, but I was upset with myself because he sent me things through the private message that I did not give him leave to do. And the things that he said to me were so inappropriate. Here's the hint: don't answer at all, say nothing. Don't try to talk back. Don't try to tell them off. Just delete and block and tell a brother, tell a friend. You
mhm,
understand? Mark that
yes.
name and say, this is not a friend of mine, privately, to the people that you do know. And it was like I was upset with myself. I was like, what did I put out there that this little thing decided that he was going to pick up on? Because I don't, as a rule, that's not my thing. I'm not looking for a man, and so I'm not, I'm not doing any of that mess. And so I had to look at, what did I post? I didn't really post anything. I didn't post anything. It was simply him wanting what to pursue it the way he wanted to. So I say this: do not feel guilty. Do not feel like I'm probably doing this or the other. Just follow the rule of less is more. Too much information. When I worked, I didn't work, but I was attending an FBI training a couple years back, and one of the people that one of the agents, he was talking about, he was the cyber. type. He was in the cyber crimes unit. And one of the things he did is he looked around at all of us. He had all of our names because we were on a roster. And he proceeded to tell us where we had been at a certain time based on our post. And then he showed us how, if you were interested in tracking somebody, you can find their location, you can find out where they live or where they are. You know their interests because they're telling everything. You know this about them, you know that. With me, he said, "You're pretty good," because he couldn't find much of anything about me because
Wow.
I won't put it on there. I was thinking more about crooks. Don't tell people you're not away from home because then they can figure
Right.
out where you live or something. That was what I was thinking about. And that's true too. But
Mm-hmm.
he was saying less is more. This is where I am. I'm in this area. Your name, people can search you online and they can find out all kinds of things. So if you don't want to attract this, and please don't accept invitations to go places with people that no one that you know knows them. No one that you know can vouch for them. Here's your due diligence again. It's about being. I love what you guys do with IoT. I love what you're doing. I mean, I totally wholeheartedly support it because it's just not acceptable for women or children, girls, boys, or men for that matter, because a lot of predators are female. That's a whole nother
Yes.
subject. But it is not acceptable for people to be lost, to go when they didn't have to, just because somebody was preying on their loneliness, their insecurity, or their pain.
Exactly. You're right.
Okay,
Uh,
need to be loved. There need to be. I want somebody to think I'm pretty. I want this. Well, that's where we go back to being your friend. You tell yourself you're pretty. You tell yourself you're loved. You tell yourself you're valuable. God says it all the time. You start saying that is the truth about yourself, no matter where you are in life. And if it doesn't feel right, there's a reason. Do not override that emotion. Do not override that inward thing that just goes, I don't know. I don't think we should do this. If you don't think you should, you better value your opinion. Don't do it. That's it.
Absolutely. I agree with you. When you get that look, that look, I don't know, it's like a bell inside that goes off and
Mhm.
it's so you need to follow that. Absolutely. So I would like to say if you have any scenario or suggestions of unsafe situations, please share in the comments below. And we want to help each other as much as we can and appreciate you taking the time to do so. And Lunzine, thank you so much. We know that we're going to have you back for something else. We know part two. Uh, so this won't be the last time, but thank you so much for being with us and being such a wealth of information today. And
Yeah.
we love you as
Yeah.
always. Thank
I
you
love you
so
too.
much.
Thank you. See y'all. Thanks, everybody.
Bye, Lonzine.
Okay, so now, on behalf of Parker IoT Solutions, we want to thank you for tuning in to us today for Safe, Secure, and Empowered 24/7 podcasts. And one of the tools that we use at Parker IoT Solutions to bring an extra layer of safety is SaveU, the mobile personal safety app. And this application was used at the 2016 Rio Olympics for the security detail, the athletes, and the attendees or the spectators. So, and it is one that operates on both Android and iOS, as well as GSM smartwatches. So, we look forward to getting this in the hands of every person. It is now business to business, but it can still be used by family members. And it does make a terrible sound that you cannot miss um, or not pay attention to. So, Rita, thank you so much for
Yeah.
another wonderful episode.
Well, thank you. That was wonderful. And thank you, everyone that joined us. And we just look forward to seeing you on our next episode of Safe, Secure, and Empowered 24/7 podcast. You have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Safe, Secure, and Empowered 24/7 podcast. If you enjoyed the podcast, please click the like button, share, and subscribe to follow us. We would love to hear from you, so please take a moment and leave a comment. You can also find us at our website, www.parkeriot.solutions.com. Make sure you follow us on social media. We are on LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook. Until next time, thank you for tuning in.